Joining us this morning is South Bend Mayor Pete Buttigieg. Always a pleasure.
Morning.
Thanks for being with us. One of the things that we heard about when Blackthorn Golf Club was sold not too long ago was that there's the possibility that others could be in the mix as well. We've recently heard that El Bell Golf Course, not far away, had an appraisal, and a lot of people are putting two and two together that perhaps El Bell is the next to be sold. Is that the case?
Well, no decisions have been made, but everything has to be on the table. You know, we're continuing to run our city on a tight budget. We're lucky to have these great golf courses, but the question is, should all these golf courses be owned and operated by the government? And if there's another better answer for that property that also makes sense for taxpayers, we have to at least consider it. And that's why we're gathering this information on what those properties are actually worth.
Does that include Erskine Golf Course or any other city attraction?
We haven't looked at appraising anything other than El Bell right now. As you know, Blackthorn Golf Course changed hands. And then there are other cases where the right answer is a public-private partnership where the city still owns the property, but we work with a private or nonprofit operator, like you have with the South Bend Cubs or the Potawatomi Zoo, which is off to a great start, and I think is going to save taxpayer money by making that change.
Is there any stipulation, if in fact El Bell goes up for sale, is there any stipulation that it would have to be a golf course similar to Blackthorn, or will it be open to any and all developers?
Well, we got to look at that. Again, you got to figure out, you know, what the economics of golf are today, how many golf courses our community can support. It is a terrific golf course, but we got to have everything on the table.
Let's talk about the VA clinic. The decision was made and the announcement was made over the last few days that the new clinic was going to go into Mishawaka, and that was something obviously that you had some reaction to. You were a little bit disappointed in the Tribune article about that, but talk about the decision process following the population trend that it is continuing to grow from South Bend eastward. Do you think it makes sense?
Well, the bottom line is that there are going to be resources in St. Joe County that weren't here before. So veterans who had to hit the road, go to places like Fort Wayne or Marion, are going to be able to find those assets closer to home. I think that's great news for the community. I do have some concerns about our most vulnerable veterans. So you got a lot of people who are struggling with really serious issues, often as a consequence, or at least related to their time in service. And these are not people who have cars. So when you choose a site that isn't on public transportation and isn't within walking distance of the kind of center of gravity of the population, that is a concern. That's a concern that can be addressed, and we're going to be talking with the VA in the couple of years before they open that clinic.
We have very little time left. I wanted to ask you a little bit about a statement from Mayor Dave Wood that there was some heavy political pressure coming from South Bend trying to land this clinic. Were any promises made politically to the government in some form or fashion about trying to land this clinic in South Bend?
No, but what I will say is that I made very clear my view that it's the VA's decision to make, but we really wanted to make sure they made a decision that does right by all veterans. You know, one of the top strategic goals of the VA is to increase access to their services. So if they're going to choose a location that's a little further away from people, I think they have an obligation to explain what their plan is for transportation. I'm sure they want to. We're going to hold them to that.
All right. South Bend Mayor Pete Buttigieg, thanks very much for being with us. And Carrie has a look at the forecast coming up.